Hello, my name is Aaron Kite-Powell, and we worked on an evaluation of health map in the context of local public health surveillance practice. There's broad recognition of the threat that emerging and re-emerging infectious disease pose, and this has driven much of the innovation in new surveillance methods, focusing on harvesting information from the web for evidence of disease outbreaks in the hopes of gaining early warning. However, the questions to me that seem less well answered have to do with how these data should be interpreted and whose situational awareness gap this really fills. Is it the epidemiologist at the local level, or is it the epidemiologist more at the national level who may not have access to health encounter level data and related communications? Possibly both. To help answer this question, we collaborated with the Florida Department of Health to assess the timeliness of detection and sensitivity of health map in comparison to outbreak posts included in Florida's internal EPICOM communication system, the results of which will help us determine how best to incorporate these supplementary surveillance tools. So we used EPICOM as a gold standard. EPICOM is Florida's moderated health alert network, where epidemiologists manually enter information about events that they're working on to document them, but also to share them with other stakeholders in their communities. This post is a fairly typical example. You can see it's a mix of structured and unstructured elements, things like date, the forum type, title, topic, and a detailed list of comments about whatever the outbreak is describing. Here's measles in Orange County, for example. You're probably familiar with Health Map, but if not, Health Map pulls in disease-related information from thousands of internet sites and social media, and then presents them on a UI that users can query and extract information that they need for their particular needs and/or reports. So we chose outbreaks that occurred between January 1st, 2009 to August 31st, 2013, about 4.5 years in total. The diseases we included were ILI, legionellosis, locally acquired dengue, and measles. To extract the data for this evaluation, we queried both EPICOM and Health Map. We then removed posts in EPICOM that focused on other diseases, were not outbreak related, or only described aggregate activity. For Health Map, we excluded alerts with vague summaries based on inaccessible articles, posts to general advisories, and alerts based on aggregate disease activity. After the extraction process, the specific outbreaks were matched between Health Map and EPICOM for the selected diseases based on similar dates, setting type, usually a county location. To assess timeliness, we differentiated between outbreak detection and outbreak alerting timeliness by subtracting the dates that you see in this slide. So the dates we have here are date the public health was notified, the date of the post within EPICOM, and the date of Health Map alert. In comparison with sensitivity, between EPICOM and Health Map, you can see the results here. Health Map was 93% sensitive for things like dengue, but only 4.3% sensitive for ILI. Here we compare EPICOM post dates to Health Map alert dates. Across all diseases included in the evaluation, less than half of the outbreaks presented in Health Map on or before they presented in EPICOM. Now, moving on to outbreak detection timeliness, where we compared the date public health was notified and the date of the Health Map alert. Standard public health surveillance practices detected all outbreaks of legionellosis and measles and most dengue and influenza-like illness outbreaks prior to Health Map alerting. The exceptions were one dengue outbreak where a clinician didn't report a locally acquired case until after lab confirmation, and two outbreaks of ILI, one of which was an out-of-state exposure and the other related to media attention because of a canceled sporting event. So based on this very preliminary analysis, Health Map is useful for surveillance to potentially public health events, creating media attention, but not necessarily for initial outbreak detection by highly functioning local health departments. However, due to its worldwide focus, we found that Health Map provides broad situational awareness of disease activity, particularly those garnering media attention, and in those cases where users don't have access to the real encounter level data that are the bread and butter of public health practice. There are some important key limitations of this work. There are a small number of outbreaks that were included in most of these diseases, and so the N limits our ability to extrapolate the results. We'd like to expand this further to include other states, perhaps at the national level. And here are collaborators in this work. Thank you.